Hey, this is Dale Hensel. Welcome back. This is the 100,000 foot view of this entire business model. Wanted to just go over the last part of what you'll be learning throughout this entire course. We call them the focuses because really whenever you go to each section, it's not a chapter, it's not a segment, it's a focus. You should focus on it until you get it. So I'm going to go through the focuses that we are going to be doing in this course and walk you through where we're going to go from and where you're going to end up. The focuses are really pretty much, we're going to look to get them all done in about 6 weeks. Now, I'm going to be really frank with you here. The speed of your learning is dependent on you. So when I get a course, I will sometimes sit up for 2 nights in a row and binge watch everything so I get the gist of it and understand the overall picture and the complexity. And then I'll go back and I'll watch it again, specifically and slower. But that's just my methodology for learning. It may not be yours, but what is yours is the speed in which you do this. You could just simply work on one focus per week, which is a really good way. I'm suggesting you know you best, so why don't you figure out what works for you and then do that. We're going to be, this class, I recommend for most people who are not familiar with this stuff to absorb it, maybe give yourself a good 6 weeks to get up and running. But by week 5 and 6, we really want you to be spending money and acquiring lists and sending out emails. So we are going to get you to try to get within that span of time, writing your first check to Facebook or spending your first money there and writing your first email and getting your first, what is that called? Money in from affiliates. Okay. Now, here's what the first focuses are going to be on. The technology. We're going to give you kind of all of the ideas and the tools that we use for running this business. These are the tools that we've used. We've built several, bases, and we've built several templates in there for you using these softwares so that it will allow you to be able to copy what we do exactly and not have to spend so much time on building a process or thinking about what do you need. Things like Airtable, we have built databases for tracking and finding and exploring good affiliate offers. In Trello, we have a workboard process that will help you figure out how much workload you have and if you should outsource it and who and how, and manage that entire process. LastPass is exceptionally good for keeping track of all the passwords of all the different softwares and accounts that you will have. So, we highly recommend it. We communicate in Slack just because as a group, for our mastermind, we are in Slack. If you're in the mastermind, you'll use it as well. It's great. It warehouses all of these conversations. And so it becomes, very easy to search backwards and say, hey, somebody else said this and I learned this a while back. So it's a very useful tool. Our 2 biggest functional tools that we recommend are ClickFunnels and Aweber. You can do your own funnels your own way. You can use any Aweber or any email product from MailChimp to Constant Contact. These are the 2 that we recommend because we've been using them. I've been using Aweber since about 2009. Love it. I'm really used to it. I know it really well. ClickFunnels makes this thing so stupid simple that it's kind of hard to screw up. So we recommend the 2 because we can comment on and help you with. If you go and you use MailChimp and you say, wait, where in this software is this one thing, I'm not going to be able to help you. But this is everything that we use to maintain, build up, and run the machine every single day. This is a very handy set of tools for you. And we're going to show you how, what, and where so you have all the tools in the right places. I don't know if you guys have ever done anything with a woodworking project, but if you've started with a piece of wood and then you had to go get a screwdriver and a drill and a saw, and if you collect all the tools ahead of time and put them in one place, it is so much easier to go ahead and do the whole project much quicker and simpler. And that's what we're going to do is tell you these are all the pieces of software we're going to recommend. And we do have 2 other pieces of software that are Facebook specific, but that's okay. We have a whole list in the focuses. We will go down into each tool and why and when you should get it. There are some tools you should not get until later because they cost money. And you do not want to sit on them for 3 months and not use them because it's going to be 3 months before you actually get to use them or until you get to a certain part of the process. So we do have that timeline mapped out for you or that process line mapped out. So at certain points, you'll know when to get what software. The next focus is going to be on the audience. This is one of the most important parts of the entire class, period, bar none, end of sentence. And that is, if you get this right, everything else is easier. If you get this wrong, you're just going to be wondering why nothing is working. Okay? So audience is the most important part. It's kind of like the soil from which you grow all of your crops that you're going to harvest. And if you understand what audience you have and their needs and wants and desires, then this is the most important and useful part of the entire course. What we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to research an audience and where to go to research them, how to pick an audience and say, hey, I want this one, not that one. I don't want left-handed roller skating jazz players, right? That's just too small of an audience, really. And why you're picking a mass market versus a niche. Maybe you want skateboarders versus left-handed jazz playing skateboarders, right? That's kind of a niche. And I'm going to teach you the difference between an audience and a niche and mass markets, and you're going to when you really get this is going to help you so much. We're going to teach you how to test an audience and get them kind of go through and say, all right, is this audience even buying stuff? Are they, you could find an audience that's just not spending money, and that's not where you want to be. So we're going to show you how to test an audience and see if it's rabid and see if it's interested in buying. We're going to teach you how to research the pains and, most importantly, how to find the symptoms of those pains in any audience. We're going to show you where they're at, how to find them, how to pull them out, how to extract them. We're going to teach you what's called a linguistic structure that's called diagnostic questioning, okay, or diagnostic languaging. Diagnostics allow you to dig deeper into a person's pain and really pull apart the aspects of what it is that they're experiencing, how they're experiencing it, and how they would recognize it, and most importantly, how they self-identify their symptom and their pain, rather than you guessing. It'll come out of their own mouth, so that's what we use. And you'll also find that by speaking to them in symptoms versus pains, you will find a much better response with your email list, okay? And we're going to also kind of teach you the two philosophical outlooks. There are two different outlooks here. You can ascribe to one or the other. I'm kind of agnostic to it, but here's the outlook. One is you are part of the audience. If you are part of the audience that you're selling to, you will be able to sell better and more, and you'll know exactly what that audience wants to buy. So if you're part of the niche, some people say if you do what you know, you're going to make money. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. The other part is being apart from the audience, and that aspect appeals to me a little bit more, because if I have to do more research, honestly, if I'm apart from the audience, but it allows me to go into any audience and still utilize pains and symptoms and understand how to research them. If I know how to do that, then I don't have to be part of an audience. An example is I'm in an audience right now that I have not, it's a cannabis-based audience, and cannabis is an audience that has a lot of rabid people in it. But I haven't used cannabis in 25 plus years. It's just not my thing. I'm not part of the audience. I'm not a user. I'm not a medical cannabis guy. I'm not a CBD oil guy, but I understand that audience because I've done the research and I know how to dig into it, so I know. So basically that's being apart from the audience, which is what I do. And that also is a model that if you want to stack up multiple incomes and multiple lists via the Empire method, this is kind of something you probably should learn, is how to be apart from the audience. But if your first one is being part of the audience and you are part of that audience and you fully and fundamentally get that audience because you're part of it, you're going to find yourself having a much easier time doing research in the beginning and everything else. So that's what the two different outlooks are for the audience. Next up in the monetization focus, we're going to talk about other people's offers, being an affiliate. Instead of trying to create your own product, you're going to go to the affiliate networks, you're going to go out to various products, and you're going to go and find other people's offers that have already been tested, that have already been proven, and convert really well. And that means you do not have to spend days and weeks and hours and months learning how to write copy or paying $20,000 or $30,000 to have a really good copywritten letter for your sales page. You don't need any of that. Other people already have it. I'll show you how to use other people's offers to create money and versus trying to build your own, because sometimes it could take you 6 months to build a product and then you're still not sure if it's going to sell, and then you don't spend the money on copy and it doesn't sell, and you spend some money on traffic and it still doesn't sell, and you beg all your friends to buy it and you beg all your other people to buy it, and you go on Facebook and you're posting and you're spamming in random groups for people to buy your product because you're hoping somebody somewhere will buy a product and maybe you'll have enough money to eat ramen tonight. I don't agree with making your own offers until you really know what the market is, and then I'll show you 5 or 6 different ways you can do your own offer. People tell you to do your own offer because it has a higher margin, but I'm going to tell you right now that having sold supplements for years, it didn't necessarily have a higher offer. It just, it just, there's a lot of downside to it, a lot. I have $85 million worth of other people, or our own product offer experience to tell you our own offers sometimes sucked, and you don't always have an advantage with it. So I'm just going to say it now. Other people's offers are where it's at. We're also going to explore, core offers. What are they? What and how do you use them? To be frank, it's when you have your audience, you should have somewhere between 6 and 8 core offers. And core offers are the offers that they see over and over from you, and they're going to become normalized to them, and some people are going to go, yeah, that's me. And you're going to be able to find that those are the ones that work for the best for you every time for your list. Okay, I'm going to teach you on how to testing offers, right? If you have your 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 core offers, every now and then you want to throw in rotating offers and try different things to see if something could beat your core offer, or if it's new and exciting and they want it, or if it won't beat your core offer. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to talk to these affiliate managers and what to say to them so that they will go into their own network and find you some of the best performing offers. You don't know what's the best performing offer on a network. You don't know if it's the best price that they can give you. Did you know that a lot of the prices are negotiable on affiliate offers? They might be paying you $30 or $38, but you realize that if you start doing more traffic, they might bump it up to $40 or $42. We used to deal with this all the time. We had thousands of affiliates, and we would work with them to, the ones that were the best performing, we would give them a $1 or $2 or $3 more per offer for their, traffic. But we didn't know how, we had our own affiliate managers internally to do this. So that's how that worked. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. I've had 5 years of having affiliate managers. We're dealing with affiliate managers. I've been doing online stuff since 2008. So I'm going to give you some of the best tips and tricks I've had for that, for all my experience. And I'm going to teach you leveraging your list in other contexts. This is by far my favorite way of doing things. And here's an example. My favorite way is I find somebody who has a business in the real world, the real brick and mortar business. And if I have a list that are people who would probably want their products, I can sometimes negotiate a really good deal to take a portion of their business or to buy their business using my list, or if I know I can buy their business and increase it. Sometimes you can even buy another website online, knowing that you already have the audience that you could go and you could pay for the purchase of the business with like maybe half a dozen emails, right? So that's a pretty cool thing. So leveraging your list in other contexts outside of just sending people offers, you're going to find that there's an immense amount of value in having an audience that you control. Huge. Okay. In other words, you become kind of like an online influencer without a face. So no one knows who you are, but you have an online influence and you're able to influence people. People will come to you and pay you to do solo email drops, to do other things. There are ways to make money with your list that would be great. You just email out regardless of whether you sell anything or not. Sometimes you can get solo drops, etc. So I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. So the whole key here is the more times you step up and swing, the more money you make. Okay. Then we're going to go through the acquisition, how to buy Facebook ads, reducing the cost of ads via engagement. Our cost of ads for one of our markets went from 80 cents a lead to 35 cents a lead just by the fact that it started to being shared and people started to share our ad in a way that made it, Facebook loved it and said, hey, people are sharing your ad. We're gonna go ahead and drop your price a little bit, spend more money. So that's one of the things that we're doing. We're gonna teach you, about lead costs versus income, why income and long-term income is more important than the lead cost. I don't care if it's 80 cents or 40 cents. Believe me, I like it better at 40 cents, but it's okay at 80 cents. It's okay at $1 because I know how to monetize it and make back all my money and the profit. And we're going to teach you which one to focus on, and how to. You don't focus on reducing your lead costs. You focus on increasing your income, and I'll show you why. All right. How your income goals sometimes can define your acquisition speed. So if you want to make $1 million per month, which is totally doable in this process, you have to. If that's your definition of success and that's what you want to do, that's going to mean that you're going to have to be able to ramp up media buying and spending. And there's a lot of places out there that will give you the money to buy all the ads you need and then some. So you don't even have to spend your own money to do it as long as you understand your numbers and you can explain them. So if your income goal is $1 million a month versus $30,000 or $40,000 per month, then your speed is going to be defined by the desire to increase that media spend and the list size and everything else. So that's how acquisition goes. On implementation, it's pretty simple. Strategy here is super duper important. Tactics get things done daily, but the strategy here is focusing on the strategy, which is audience acquisition in a market, and then making them offers is really the strategy. Tactics get it done, but don't get lost in the minutia. Don't get lost in the weeds down in the tactics all the time. So there's two ways to do this. One, learn and do it yourself. We're going to teach you everything you need, soup to nuts on this. And two, have an expert do it for you. Now, if you have certain resources or if you understand the value of your time, you're probably going to want to have an expert do things for you, very simply because you don't need to learn how to lay brick to build a house so that you can buy real estate, right? I've met plenty of people in the real estate markets over the years that say, hey, I want to become an appraiser, or I want to become a bricklayer, or I think I need to learn how to do carpentry so I can buy and flip houses. I go, you don't learn carpentry to learn how to flip houses. It's a different model. You learn carpentry to be a carpenter. So you can either learn how to become a funnel expert or an email expert. All those things are possible, but there's also people you can hire to do it yourself. And I've started to collect a bunch of people who will do it for you, but we will teach you how to do it for yourself. However, we've also put together a group of people who are going to be in our, we have a push button black book, meaning if you push a button, it connects to somebody who's already an expert in what you're trying to get done. And they are already trained to do this system and to do this process. And so if we are adding people to that push button black book every day so that more people are there available for you, other people will be using them, but they will understand how to do this. So literally we're going to set it up so you can push a button, you can fill it out, who you are, what your website is, who your market is, what you're trying to accomplish, and they will do the specific part that you're asking them to do because the button already defines it for you. It's literally a fill in the blank, please get this done for me. And you don't have to do anything else, and you don't have to figure out how to hire people. You don't have to get on Fiverr. You don't have to go anywhere. All you have to do is just say, I want this done. And if the person comes back with the right price for you, why not? I hire people from the Philippines all the time. I've trained people for years. I've had as many as 12 full-time people in the Philippines who worked for me for about 4 years. All of this is available to you. I have a number of people who are trained, and I'm training more all the time to be able to specifically do things like set up funnels, to set up email structures, to integrate all of the pieces together. People who can write you emails, people who can do research for you, people who can help you do everything you need on this whole process. All right. So that's what we're doing for the implementation. You can always do it yourself. Great. It's good to know how to do it, but frankly, you don't have to. Daily processes. Some people get lost in the weeds, and we found the best way to prevent that is to simply give you a checklist every day so that you know exactly what you need to be doing. So we're going to give you what it takes to build the system and the daily tasks that makes this easy and profitable. All right. And we're also going to teach you how to outsource it to other people and hire others that can do it for you. But at some point, we'll have the Black Book put together for you, and we'll also provide these checklists, weekly checklists, reporting templates, and several other templates for you that are going to be how you run your day and how you run your week and your month. And again, if you're doing the hammock model, I like to do the least amount of work. So I want to try to do it in 1 hour a day and call it a day and get on to something else. If you want to work on this more, you're more than welcome to. But once you get the processes and everything else in place, and once you work on this and really chisel this out in about 6 months or less, then you can go ahead and just do the daily system. Once you understand how little the daily system takes, is you can start really pushing for somebody else to start writing emails, or for somebody else to take care of some of the reporting, etc. If you're profitable, then you're looking at, instead of hourly reporting, which I swear some people do, they check all of their stats hourly. That's crazy making stuff. You start doing daily reporting, say, hey, how many leads do we get today? How many sales do we have today? Good enough, go home. Or you start doing weekly, where you go, okay, we know that every week it generates X number of dollars, and every month it generates X. I don't need to look every day. So that is pretty much what's going on with the checklists and the daily processes that we're building for you. So that is the focus, is pretty much the 100,000 foot view. And next up, I'm going to take you through the most important secret piece that we have.